Little travel news here. I just, my friend Mike told me yesterday he was getting the real ID, and he's the guy, young Mike from the gym.
Yeah.
He wasn't there yesterday, and he said I was stuck at the DMV for 8 hours.
Oh my God! Still.
Really?
And then
Did he do the just walk in?
Well, yeah, and you know what happens is if you don't have an appointment. Now, my wife has an appointment in like 2 months. That's the first one she could get.
That's how it is. Yeah, 2-3 months out.
So my friend, another friend, you know, Jim Jean.
I do know Jim Jean.
Also goes to the gym. She had an appointment, and the next day she reported that people, afternoon, at least here, afternoon you can just walk in, but people start lining up at 8 a.m. so they can get the noon slot. You know, so
First come, first serve.
yes, so that's what Mike did. He got there at 8 o'clock. He's like, they were lined up around the building
With
Yeah.
waters and
Yes.
folding chairs.
on your Jush,
On
all
your
of,
Jush,
all of it.
yeah.
And you know it's 4 hours because you can't walk in before noon. But the line is so long that if you're at the back of it, it's more like 4 o'clock by the time. So he spent 8 hours there yesterday.
Is this something where maybe people, I don't know if your daughter would do it, but your son certainly could, hold the space in line, or do you have to be there in person?
I think you can hold the space.
Or will the line yell at you?
I'm
You know,
not sure.
Every line has its own dynamic.
yeah, I don't know.
Are you cheating the system if you do it that way?
Remember when a couple of months ago the woman fainted because it got kind of hot in May, and she fainted, and when her husband came to check on her because she had fainted and they'd called 911, she goes,
She ripped off the oxygen mask.
go stand in line.
Get me back in line.
We need that real ID. We have to have that.
I told you, whenever I go, I'm going to have a line holder.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you don't have one either. You don't have
No, I don't have a real ID.
You have a
Do
passport.
you need one?
Do you have a passport?
Passport's invalid now.
Do you need a real ID, Biggie?
No, but I'm going to go ahead and get it just in case.
Maybe you could wait till like December when the lines aren't as big.
When does
I put an appointment in. I have one.
you have an appointment?
I have one, but mine is 3 months out.
your driver's license expire?
I think 3 more years.
I'd ride it out, man.
All three. If you don't have to. But
Where's
see,
he going?
Well, here's the decision my wife and I made yesterday. Okay. And she has an appointment in a couple of months. But even with an appointment, I feel like you still have to wait for a while, you know. That's why Biggie says he needs a line holder even for his appointment.
Talk to your boy.
Well, and I said, can I go in October and get one and won't have to stand in line? She goes, oh no, this is going to be months and months of people standing in line every day for hours and hours.
Well, let's be fair. The deadline snuck up on people.
It did.
It was 20 years in the making.
That's right. They only gave us 20 years of warning.
Okay.
You know what my wife says? She is kicking herself because in all of this, while this was going on, my daughter was getting her license. Remember, she failed the test 3 times. Sorry, I shouldn't have brought that up.
You'll throw that up every time it comes up, right?
I shouldn't have brought
With the
that
girl.
up. Yes.
Has she dinged a car yet?
Not yet, but she was within a whisker of one the other day. She called her brother to come help her back out of the parking space because she was about 5 minutes away. And when he got there, he said there was like you could slide a paper clip between her. And I was like, why'd you call him? He's the one that keeps dinging cars anyway. You know,
that's true.
What good's he going to do?
His track record is not great.
Yes. So she hasn't dinged one yet, but she failed the written test 3 times. I shouldn't bring that up. I should not. The point is, my wife had to take my daughter to the DMV 4 times, and every sign was, get your real ID, get your real ID. That was a year ago. Get your real ID. And my wife now is saying, why didn't I listen? She just assumed.
Oh, she has standards.
She assumed they would kick it down the road again.
But for 20 years.
They kicked it down the road.
And I also took the gamble because I said, there's no way this is actually going to happen this time. They're going to give us a whole nother year because we've looked for 20 years. We've said, not even a thing.
Yep.
And now they actually did it. And we're all like, what?
Yep.
Not fair.
And once again, Chris Demm, in typical fashion, is like, I've had my real ID. I listened to them wholeheartedly.
Well,
Do it for you.
As fate would have it, my license expired like 3 years ago.
So you got it.
So I just said, give me the real ID then.
My kids both have it because they got their license 4 years ago, and then last year they got it.
Also,
they just did it.
My license.
But my wife didn't. My license doesn't come up. It was like 7 years ago.
So your daughter's is real.
It's real.
Oh.
But not my wife.
I got you.
Yeah, and remember,
the kids have them.
I misunderstood.
We don't.
you can renew your license online like every other time. So it's like, who wants to go to the DMV? They don't want you to go.
Of course.
They don't want you there.
Yeah.
So we made the decision yesterday. We're just going to get new passports. Yep.
Well,
I've thought about that too.
Now, we have absolutely no plans for international travel. None. They've closed the Louvre, for God's sake. Where are we going to go?
Yeah.
how are you going to see Venus de Milo?
Did you see this? That's got me up nights, by the way. This
Louvre?
Louvre closing. Did you see this?
No. I thought maybe we were talking about the guy who sat in the chair. Did you hear about the chair guy?
Chair guy was in Italy. The Louvre is closed, I think, because the workers are on strike.
What's chair guy? What did chair guy do? I don't
Something
know.
I could see myself totally doing.
What did he do?
You didn't see this?
Sometimes you need a break. You
Yeah.
go to take a seat in a chair, and it winds up being a Van Gogh.
Oh.
And you don't break it. You crush it.
Technically, they call it the Van Gogh chair. It's made out of Swarovski crystal. And he sat his fat ass down in it while his wife took a picture, and it shattered underneath him.
I mean, it's crazy. They have it all on camera photo.
Oh,
I mean,
every
it couldn't have
angle.
gone.
No, I did
Yeah.
not see that.
So
no.
she yanks him up off the floor, and they run for the exit. But of course, they know who they
No,
are.
yeah. And a lot of people are saying, which I kind of agree with, hey, you don't just sit a chair out
Oh, my
like that.
God.
You put a rope around it.
I agree.
Because I could see myself, he looked like me, kind of just, oh, God, I've been in this museum for 2 hours. I need a break. Ah!
I think the piece is maybe 20 years old. It wasn't
Yeah.
a Van Gogh, but that's called the Van Gogh chair.
Oh, I see. Okay. I was going to say, is it a 200-year-old
No, he
chair?
did not make it himself.
No, the Louvre, yesterday, of course, all these tourists were there at the Louvre.
Yes,
Waiting to get in.
Americans are in line.
This is
Paris.
like the travel season, of course. And the employees did a spontaneous strike. They're like, we're overrun with tourists. It doesn't hold enough. It's dilapidated, the entire museum. It's coming down at the seams. And so they just wouldn't let anybody in. They didn't open the doors when it opened. And all these American tourists were like, very upset by it.
Mhm.
As you can imagine, you planned your trip to Paris. You want to go
Oh,
to the
yeah,
Louvre.
of
And
course.
they closed it, so they're on strike now. And President Macron has... He wants 800 million euros spent to upgrade it, and he's promised that, but they're not fast enough.
Well,
It's a 10-year project.
Yeah, they announced the project to open a new entrance.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's going to take years.
Yeah, and so the employees were like, we're not opening. Boy, if I had gone to Paris and was standing in front of the Louvre waiting to get in, and they didn't open it, and that was my one day to go there on my week-long trip, I would be outraged.
It's a strange time for tourism, of course. I don't know if you've seen some of the stories out of, like, Spain. I think Barcelona and Mallorca, they are tired of being, quote-unquote, overrun with tourists.
Yeah.
So now they're squirting them with squirt guns.
Saw that. How weird.
You have to, how do you find the balance of
Yeah.
keeping your economy going
Yeah, don't you want
and
tourists?
preserving
Well,
what
that's.
keeps Barcelona?
Oh,
But
I
I
see.
would bet that not all the tourists are friendly, proper,
Well, maybe.
I'm sure they're not.
respectful.
I mean, look around you everywhere you travel.
Yeah. Well, the guy who sat in the chair. I mean,
Hey, man, I don't blame him. You don't just put a chair out that's
In an exhibit hall.
expensive and then not rope it off if it's part of the exhibit.
right. You have to.
People are like, who would sit on it? And I'd be like, it's a chair.
I would have sat in it.
It's
Yeah.
made of glass. It's made of glass. It's
Look,
not
when
a
you're,
chair.
when you're tired, trust me, you're just looking
You
for
sit
a
down,
chair.
You need a bench. You need something.
Yeah.
To
I mean,
sit
look at
on.
me going through these hallways. People try to stop and talk to me. I'm like, nope.
I tried to hand you a soda. You were like,
Nope.
can't. I said,
I'm rolling.
I said, turn around. Can't. Rolling. Can't do
Yeah.
it. We
People stop in front of me. I'll be like, nope.
One side, Sonny.
Can't
Yeah.
do it. So anyhow, we're going to pay the money to get the passport
Okay.
and then go and get the real ID in a year when it's, much more, the lines are there.
Senator Chris Kelly's wife is on the line.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've really tried to backdoor my way into the DMV
Yeah.
a few times.
You cannot do
and
it.
thinking we have some connections. We do not.
We do not.
It does not matter.
Because they do not care.
It's faster to get a passport. Call your congressman.
Yeah.
It's
I know
expensive.
you'll lean on your
I'm
congressman.
going to lean
Yeah.
on my congressman. That's pricey, but you have to do it. See, I'm afraid I'm going to buy the passport, pay for it, and not need it for years. Who knows?